Hello and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Ricardo Silva, and today I want to share a simple but very important topic with you guys. That topic is how much to charge for the work that you do. In this tutorial, I'm going to be focusing mostly on the work that I do, which is broadcast design or graphic design overall. But you could apply this technique or this system to basically any industry. So it doesn't have to be just design. This system, I actually learned about it many years ago when I was starting as a freelancer, but I think it still applies because I still use it sometimes to figure out certain things about, and kind of like keep my balance sheet in check. The way that this works is that I have this Excel document, or if you're using a Macintosh, this is a numbers document, which is a spreadsheet that you can enter information that is only available to you and personal to you, so you can actually calculate your monthly expenses and how much to charge. There are some instructions in this sheet. As you can see on the right side, it says enter information only in the yellow color boxes. That means that these boxes are going to be empty if you download this spreadsheet, and you're going to basically add every single list of expenses in here and add the monthly expense that you have. If for any reason, like for example in computers, if you have let's say a computer that you are buying today or several computers for your own use, then you can actually put your cost in here, the yearly cost. For example, I'm going to put 2520, which is something that a computer might cost nowadays, and it will give you a monthly charge. So that monthly charge, you're going to put it right here if you need to have a calculator handy. So this setting over here is to calculate the year-to-month calculator. The idea behind putting all these expenses, and I mean putting every single expense that you have in your life. So if you are a single person, or if you are married, if you own an apartment or rent an apartment or have a house or whatever you have, you're going to put all your expenses on this left column over here. Here what you can see is an example, a very brief example of my expenses, and as you can see, it will calculate the year expense depending on the mortgage or whatever expense that you have in here, and it will give you kind of like a breakdown of every single day. At the bottom of this list, you are going to see that there are some detailed results in here. As you can see, you will be able to calculate your monthly expense on the lifestyle that you have. Also, how much you need every single year to continue with that lifestyle that you have. And of course, the daily expense. So every single day, you have to make at least 158 and 96 cents to live the life that you are living right now. And this one is basically to kind of like bring you down to earth and tell you, okay, this green box is actually telling you that every single hour that you are living, that you are beating your heart, you need to make at least $19.87 to continue with this style of living that you have. Now, for that, you will need a paycheck, of course. You need to work because money doesn't grow on trees. So you need to make at least $58,000 a year, as you can see in here. Now, these numbers are going to change depending if you are on a different country, if you are on a different state than I am, or if you, live in a more expensive area or a city. So These are basically basic numbers. In here in Los Angeles, 4,800 is really not that much. So I'm very conservative in this number here. So I didn't put all those expenses, but you should put all those expenses because you want to know how much money you need yearly, daily, monthly, and even hourly, so you can meet the requirements of your life. So, like I said, you need to be working or, getting a paycheck from somewhere. Maybe your dad, your mom is going to give you money or somebody, your rich uncle, whatever. But you need to work or get money every single month. So, the paycheck area, that is the one that actually is going to tell you what type of money you need to charge. So, if you are a citizen of a city that actually charges you taxes, like every city I've been living around, so you're going to have to put in here the tax bracket. For example, in Los Angeles, at least for me, is around 33 to 35%. So I'm going to be conservative and I'm going to put 33% of the income tax that I have to pay. So in order for me to make this type of money free from taxes and be able to make 1987 every hour free from taxes, I really need to make this kind of money, 86,597 and 1 cent, so I can continue to have the life that I have right now. Now, this is basically paying off every single cent that I receive. So at the end of the year, December 31st, I will have not a penny left over because I am expending that money every single day of my life, really. Okay. So this this area over here, and you will see the pink or purple color number, that is my work day, how much my work day is actually worth. And when I say work day, that means there are 7 days a week. So this is 5 days. So every single day out of the 5 days of work days, I need to make every single day 333 and 7 cents. When I talk about work hours, like in this part over here, that means I'm talking about 40 hours a week. So if I make 40 hours a week, every single hour I should make 41 and 63 to have this style of living. Okay, so just like I said before, these numbers are going to change depending on what is the data that you put in the expenses above in here. Okay, so that's going to change. Now, when I have this paycheck, it is a good idea that you want to save some money. You want to save money either for the college of your kids or maybe the vacation that you want to take to the Bahamas or Las Vegas or South America, whatever, right? So you want to have some savings. So let's say that you want to save $10,000. Okay, so in this yellow box again, you're going to type in $10,000. By doing that, now that means that you need to make more money. So this changes. Now you need to make 371 and 53 every single work day. Okay, as long as you work the whole year. The same goes for the hour. And if you work overtime hours, some places still pay overtime, even if you're a freelancer, then you have to make 69 and 66 cents. So that means that the calculated income has to be 111,522 and 39 cents. And monthly, you need to make at least $8,000. Okay, so you can continue to have the life that you have and save $10,000 for your vacation or the expenses that you want to have in the future, whatever. Now, after doing that, then I have created this freelance quote. Now that we know how much your work day, your work hour, and your overtime hour is it's supposed to be, you're supposed to get paid, then the freelance quote is going to help you kind of like get into a ballpark that you are not losing money. Okay, every time that you work in a an industry, regardless of what it is, at least you want to make the hourly money that you know you're not losing money. Okay, so even if you are working as a gardener and you have these expenses, well, if you're a gardener, you should make $46 and $44 an hour. So that's what to continue with the life that you have. If you're an engineer, I'm sure you're gonna be making more money than this, but at least this is the base money that you need to make to continue with the life and have these savings and all that stuff, right? So the freelance quote, like I said in the beginning, I'm focusing more on being an independent graphic designer, and this is adjust very closely to what I do. For example, let's say that you have a project that a client is asking you, how much would it cost to create, let's say, a big poster or a small video, whatever, right? So you will calculate according to your experience how many days or hours is going to take you to finish that job. So let's suppose that you are going to take 8 hours. So that means it's going to be one day, because one day is 8 hours of work. So I'm going to put in here just one day. Are you going to be working overtime hours? Like, for example, you're going to have to deliver it tomorrow and then you're going to have to work 10 hours today with changes and all that stuff? I don't know. So you have to calculate those things. In here, you will put your overtime hours. For this particular example, I'm going to leave the project duration to be one day. So one day is 8 hours. So if you have the workday value over here, it goes and places that same value here where it says total cost. The total cost is $371.53. That's what you should charge, so you can continue having this math being correct at all times. Now, let's say, sometimes you want to add an extra profit. Maybe your client is one of the big networks in the industry, and even if it's only one day, you probably want to add something. Let's say, so you want to put a percentage in here. So let's say you want to make 10% more. So you just type in 10%, and the total should reflect the cost, the total cost, plus the profit. Okay. Now, if you ask me today, what would be the total cost of one day here in Los Angeles for a company, I would say it goes between $400 and $900 or $1,000, depending on your experience. So this is where the cost of the freelance quote is going to give you basically a base number of how much money to charge, and do not undercharge so you can actually make money, right? So like I said in the beginning, in the grand total of my monthly expenses and yearly expenses, I didn't fill out everything in there because I know this number goes up a little more than $4,800. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so in the case of a freelance quote, sometimes you want to have some additional expenses. For example, if you work with graphic design, or you need to rent some sort of equipment to accomplish that job, or have a printer print certain things, you're going to put those expenses in here. So additional expenses, for example, let's say if this was a poster and I need to print, let's say, several posters, and the cost for that printing is $1,000. Okay, so you're gonna put $1,000 in there. So the additional expenses are going to be here, and they will be added to the final total. Okay, so this is something that is going to help you go into the ballpark of what you should be charging. This is not a Bible of this is exactly what you should be charging, but it's going to give you an idea. It's going to basically keep you in check for not undercharging. That's exactly what this is for. Now, if you notice on the top area over here in the spreadsheet that we have, the first area is the independent. So what I just show you is valid, or it applies to independent freelancers. So just remember, if you're an independent artist, you don't have workers' compensation, you don't have social security, you don't have vacation paid. So you have to add up certain things to your pricing. Okay, just remember that you are not just going to charge whatever this spreadsheet is going to tell you, because it's not going to be enough, and it's not going to be fair for you and for the colleagues that you work with that are also freelancers. So if you underprice your work, then the whole industry is going to go down as well. Okay, just keep that in mind and try to get the knowledge of how much other people that are in the industry are actually charging as well. The second section is for the business owner. So you are an independent artist, freelancer, and you're making a little money, and suddenly your accountant tells you, you know what, you should create your own business, because now you are hiring other colleagues, other freelancers, to help you do your own work. So that basically it is telling you that you are going to have to expand your business. Okay, so when you go into the business owner, you're going to see a similar spreadsheet in here. Okay, it's very similar to the one that I just did in there as the independent, but in this case, the first expense that you have in here automatically coming from the previous spreadsheet, from the independent spreadsheet over here, is the actual paycheck that you want to make in every month, which is $8,049.75. This still applies for the business owner, because you still are the first employee. Even if you are the only owner of your company, you are the only employee, and you still want to make the same money. So this is your own salary, which is $8,049.75 every month. So it gets added already automatically here in the expenses. Now, the business by itself will have additional expenses besides your internet at home. Now you will have to have internet at the office or things like that. When you are talking to the IRS or the Internal Revenue Service or the tax service in your country or your city, they are going to sometimes they're going to go into your house and see if you are working out of your house. So you have to have those expenses separate. Okay, so you may have some expenses, some percentage of the expense of the internet for the home, for your children, for your wife, and then some of the other part of the same internet or office or whatever separated for your business. Okay, so if you rent an office or if you use the living room or an extra room in your house, that costs money. Okay, so that's where you come and basically create all these new expenses. The utilities, they have to be split, divided, and so on. Okay, so the best practice sometimes is to have your own office, in somewhere in a building or in an office space or somewhere. And that means that you're going to be paying additional expenses besides the ones that you already have as a personal designer. Okay, so in this case, I added some expenses in here. Like I said, this is a brief example of what a company would go through. They have also phones, mobile devices. They also have computers. They have to buy or rent software, whatever. So there are many other expenses that you should also include in here, because you want to include every single expense that you have monthly. In here, there is also a year-to-month calculator, just like in the independent spreadsheet that I put in there. And at the bottom, again, this is the detail, the grand total. If you want to have your business running, you are going to have, according to the expenses that I put in this example, I am going to have $14,500 577 and 75 cents every month coming into the office so I can pay my one and only employee, which is myself, and also yearly this is what I need to make. And if somebody tells me how much is your company spending every single hour, well, it's close to $60 an hour, even when it's at night and not working. Okay, so this is the expense hourly. Like I said, this number will bring you down to earth and recognize that you need to make $60 every single hour of the 24 hours that you live and breathe in this earth. Okay. Now going down, just like before, now instead of paycheck, because in this case we don't have a paycheck in the business, you can actually know that the business rate monthly is 4,577, just like the numbers over here. So that means that this is basically a kind of like a breakdown of how much your office will be costing to your client. If your client wants to hire you for a whole month, that person or that client is going to have to pay at least $14,577 and 75 if they want to have you for a whole month, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay. Now, in here, I created what is called the business quote. So in here, you can put the name of their client. So, for example, Disney, Warner Brothers, or Joe Blow, whatever. The name of your client. The description, what is this? It's a movie, it's a video, it's a music video, it's editing, it's post-processing, it's compositing, it's 3D animation, maybe it's only painting, maybe it's carpentry, I don't know. Okay, whatever your industry is, this is where you put the project description. Okay, now the same as before, you can have the project duration. Now that you're a company, you have to figure out what the duration of this job is. Usually companies, even if it is one-person company, companies get larger projects because they are a company. They have a name. Okay, so in this case, for example, let's say the project duration is 15 days. Okay, are you going to have your employees work overtime? Maybe you do. I don't know. So let's say that you will have at least 2 hours every single day working overtime. So 15 times 2 is 30 hours. Okay, so it's 2 hours overtime every single day. So in here is 15 days, which are 8 hours a day, 8-hour days, and in here is all the total of overtime hours that you calculate. So the project, whatever it is going to cost at least $13,876 and 90 cents. Now, do you your city is you're gonna be delivering a tangible product? Sometimes, if you are working with the Internal Revenue Service or the tax people, if you're delivering tangible objects like CDs or videotapes or whatever, you have to pay some tax, sales tax. If you don't, then it's up to you. It's up to the city. You have to figure that out. Your accountant might be able to tell you. When I do work as a business, usually we do not deliver elements anymore. Everything is digital, so you do not deliver tangible elements. So the tax usually is not applicable. Okay, in this case. Now down here is the profit margin. Every single company needs to have a profit because whatever I am calculating here, that is the basic cost of having a business, regardless if I get a project or not. Okay, so this is the cost that my client has to figure out and know. That's the my rent, my telephone, my secretary, whatever, right? So this is the cost. The profit margin for every single project, I recommend that at least be 30%. Okay. Now you can go lower if you want to kind of like compete with your other businesses like yourselves. You can go to 20, 25, but regularly, and a good fair margin, profit margin would be 30% off per project. So just by putting 30% in here, the percentage that you are adding to that cost estimate is 4,163 and 7 cents. Now, this is the cost to client. If you want to make additional money, you can increase this, let's say, to 35%. And of course, this would be the cost for that. Now, the same as before, you can have additional expenses. So right now, you only have yourself as the employee, the main employee. You are the CEO, the graphic designer, the janitor, the guard, everybody. You are the one answering the phones and doing the work. So it's only you and yourself. That's it. But if you have other employees, for example, you hire a secretary, so that would be employee number one. What is the daily rate of that secretary? Maybe it's $200 a day. Maybe that person is working, for those 15 days. So we can put 15 days. I just hired that secretary for 15 days. Okay. Now let's say I hire a freelancer that is a 3D animator, and this 3D animator, the daily rate is $600 a day. Okay, and I'm gonna have him or her work for, let's say, 6 days. Okay, so as you can see, every single time I hire somebody, my price keeps going and going up. So there is a lot of money involved in hiring other people. So this is the hire freelancers or independent contractors that I am calculating here. This calculation is going also into the cost over here. It's being calculated in here, in this estimate over here. So by having that calculated there, then the cost to the client is going to be much higher. Okay, so do I have to have additional expenses? Like, for example, do I need 3D scans or 3D objects, whatever? So let's suppose I need to buy certain lights or a special rent a camera or whatever, right? So let's say I'm going to rent a camera for $200 a day, and then maybe I'm going to have the scan of the face, of the 3D scan of a face of the talent, and that's going to cost me, let's say, $250 and so on, right? So those two expenses are also going to be added in here. Okay, so as you can see, now the cost to client is going to be $28,251 and 31. I don't know what the project is right now, but what I do know is that the project is going to take 15 days to complete, and is going to have 2 hours of overtime every single day. And I have to charge that, okay? Because I spend lights, I spend computer use, rendering, whatever, okay? Regardless of how many people are working at my job. So by doing this, I basically created two of the most basic type of spreadsheets to calculate, depending if you're an independent artist or if you're a business owner. Okay, so even if you are just one person as the independent and one person in the business owner, you have to treat the independent and the business owner as two separate identities. Okay, that is the main idea also in this tutorial. Now, like I said in the beginning, don't take this tutorial or these spreadsheets as the Bible on how much to charge. You have to educate yourself on how much other people in your industry charge for the same job that you are doing, and then just check if you are either losing money or making money, or could it be maybe the right time to change industries? Because if you are going to be charging, let's say, $24 an hour in a business that requires at least $60 an hour every single hour of the day, then you are really losing money and you're going to go bankrupt pretty soon. Okay, so I hope you like this tutorial. I know this is not related to what I do usually, but I thought there was a need for this type of tutorials. I hope you like them. I hope you find them useful. And if you are interested in these spreadsheets, like I said, follow the link at the bottom of this video, and you can get the spreadsheet if you want to. Okay. Otherwise, well, good luck. Okay. Thank you.